So this is the video lesson for Calc Prep 3 notes, and the title on this is miscellaneous because it's just some kind of miscellaneous things we've done throughout the year that you're going to need when you get to calculus. Okay, so there's really nothing in this worksheet that's new. It's just kind of condensed a whole bunch of different things that are easy to forget, and that's why we review them. Okay, so in this video I'm going to work through two different examples, and the first one is going to be example 4 because I don't know if everybody remembers exactly the main idea behind circles. Okay, in Algebra 2 you did circles in the larger unit of conic sections. We don't do a whole unit of conic sections in pre-cal, so we just kind of review what we need as we need it. Remember that for a circle it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, and this is a shift to the right h units, and it's a shift actually up k units. Okay, so the center is at the point hk. This is not a function, it's not in terms where y is by itself, and then the radius is obviously r. Okay, so that's the main idea here. Now what we need to do is actually take this equation and find the radius in the center. So what we're going to have to do is completing the square. So I'm going to get the x's together, I'm going to get the y's together. Hopefully this is not something you feel like you're just learning brand new, but that it's a review. Now I'm actually going to subtract that 3 over. Okay, so now when completing the square will allow me to write this as a binomial squared. So I'm going to take my 6, okay, and off to the side somewhere, you know, you could do your half it, box it, square it. I think a lot of you don't need to write this down, but a lot of you do. So do whatever you need to do so that you complete the square properly. Now, since this is on two different sides of the equal sign, if you add 9 on the left, you have to add 9 on the right. Okay, keep it balanced. Then this becomes x plus 3 squared. If you forget what number to write here, just think about logically what will this factor into, or you can refer over here to the box. Alright, so then you have your negative 4. You're going to half it. That becomes a negative 2. Box it, square it, and you get 4. It should be a squared right there. Okay. So plus 4 completes the square, so I have to add 4 to the right side to keep it balanced. Then this becomes y minus 2 squared equals, and this becomes 10. Okay. Center now is going to be negative 3, positive 2. It's always opposite and opposite just because of the main rule. And then our radius is going to be square root of 10, which does not simplify. On some of these circle problems, you might have to use distance and midpoint formula. Okay, remember distance formula? Just a quick way to remember it is that it is Pythagorean theorem. Okay, it is finding the hypotenuse on a right triangle. Midpoint formula is averaging x's and y's. Okay, that might help you on some of the other circle problems. All right, number 6. So skip. I think you're gonna have to turn the page. And this is a line problem. This is pretty basic. This is regular Algebra 1 stuff here. All right, but if we haven't done it in a while, it's really easy to forget. Okay, but after this lesson, you should be a complete expert on this and be able to teach anybody how to do this. So it says, write the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. Now there is a way to do this in your calculator on linear regression, but we're going to do it without. Okay, you could actually draw a picture here that might help you, but ultimately what we need to do is we need to find the slope between these 2 points. Now remember slope formula. If you don't remember it from your tax formula chart, that's okay. It's change in y over change in x. Or this may look more familiar, but the way I wrote it down first will always work. The thing is, you've just got to be consistent. If you consider this negative 4 to be y2, and then you do minus 3, then you also have to start on this point in the denominator, 2 minus negative 1, and don't let the negatives catch you up. At this point, you should be great with negatives. Okay, that's going to be negative 7 over 3. All right, so that's my slope. If we were talking about a parallel line, I would use the same slope. If we were talking about a perpendicular line, I would use positive 3/7, the opposite reciprocal. Okay, here's another formula you should know. There are other ways to get this, but this is what you're most used to. And it doesn't matter which point you use. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the first point. So this is going to be y minus 3 equals my slope, which is negative 7/3, parenthesis x minus negative 3. So I'm going to write it as x plus 1. And you should be able to do this without a calculator. It's just basic fraction work, distributing that negative 7/3. And now when I add 3, I'm actually going to write it as 9/3 over here just to make life a little bit easier on myself. And I have y equals negative 7/3 x plus 2/3, and that is my answer. And you can check your answer here. You should be able to plug in -1 in for x and get a 3, or you should be able to plug in a 2 in for x and get a -4. Those are ways that you can check your work. Okay? There are various types of problems on here that I have not yet reviewed, and you're going to ask me questions in class or work together, and by the end of this assignment tomorrow, you should be thoroughly reviewed in all the little things that we've been doing throughout the year, but very important things to get you through calculus.